Welcome. I'm going to invite everybody to take a big, deep breath, because I need it. Thank you for being here. My name is Angie Arndt, and I have the honor of being the Dean of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, and I thank you so much for coming to help celebrate the 12th ordination of ChIME. We like to begin all things we do at ChIME with a few moments of silence to help us settle in. I will ring the bowl to begin, and out of the silence, I will offer a prayer. Spirit of light and love, known by so many names, and yet by no name truly known, thank you for most this amazing day, and for your presence as we gather to honor and celebrate the ordination of the class of 2015. Thank you for being present in the hard work and creativity they have brought to their time in ChIME, and all the wonderful ways they have and will continue to show up in the world in service. Continue to make your presence known to them as they receive the sacrament of ordination and move into their communities as interfaith ministers. And thank you all for the love and support of their families and friends. May we all open our hearts and pray also for those in need throughout the world, and those these students have served, namely the homeless, the incarcerated, the infirmed, the elderly, the disenfranchised, the refugees, and the youth. May these people experience healing and connection through the service of these wonderful chaplains. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their own true nature. May all beings be free. Blessed be, and amen.
Good afternoon. And I too welcome you to this joyous, amazing celebration of 9 wonderful ordinands. None of them would have gotten here without the support of those of you who are in this room today. So give yourself a heartfelt thanks as well, and your presence means a lot to them today. Just a little bit about ChIME if you don't know what they've been about these 2 years. We are an interfaith school whose mission is, we've newly adopted and clarified to share with you, to educate and ordain interfaith leaders who serve with integrity, spiritual presence, and prophetic voice. Each of the students has spent over 500 hours in class and an additional many hours of independent study. In addition, during the 2 years, each has developed spiritual practices that deepen their connection with the divine, and each has offered over 300 hours of service to the community. Our students learn through books, through expressive arts, through service, from each other, and often through mistakes. Haven't we all? A foundational part of ChIME is creating and sustaining beloved community. In beloved community, each person is seen, Each is loved for all of who they are. Each is supported to take risks to become all of who they were meant to be. And mystery is always present with us. We live in a complicated and need-filled world. As Angie mentioned, many are homeless and unseen. Vets return home traumatized. A loved one no longer recognizes their spouse or child. A local immigrant store is vandalized. Couples want to get married. A house needs blessing. There's a need in this world for companions of compassion and celebration. A need for those who are committed to alleviating suffering, to find hope in the midst of despair, connection in the midst of loneliness, and in addition, a need for those committed to celebrating the beauty of life. These 9 ordinands have said yes to the call to make Spirit the foundation of their life and to respond to these needs. Today, we get to celebrate that yes. And my hope is that in some small way, this ordination will inspire each of you here today to walk in compassion and celebration with those that you encounter. Blessed be.
My name is Guando Joe, and I serve on the faculty as a core faculty member at ChIME, along with Sarah Shepley. And the two of us will be introducing each of the ordinances as they come up to give their presentation. As Patricia has described, this 2-year program is quite a journey, a spiritual journey of transformation. So we get to hear just a little bit of whatever is in your hearts today. So our first ordinance is Nancy Stoll White.
I almost don't know where to begin. 2 minutes is very short, and it's also very long, and I have just hacked a page out of what I was going to say, so bear with me. While we've been warned that these aren't the Oscars, and we shouldn't spend a lot of time thanking everyone, I am going to ignore that warning just a little bit today to express some gratitude. And 2.5 years ago, I walked into the admissions interview at ChIME and said I wanted to do this program. But no, I wasn't feeling called to be a chaplain or a minister or a reverend. And amazingly, ChIME still said, that's okay, you can come. And it was worth it. ChIME delivered structure, but not too much structure, with intriguing, rich material for discussion and assignments, and an absolutely wonderful set of classmates to share the journey. It's pushed me to volunteer in environments I'd avoided, to focus on listening skills, to reflect on and speak about things spiritual, to create ritual, and most important, I think, to trust the power and integrity of writing and speaking in my own voice. Yes, I'm grateful, so thank you, ChIME. I also want to thank Spirit for showing up at unexpected times and places and for doling out pokes, little reminder, pay attention pokes. Recently, I got a gentle one that I wanted to share with you today, and it struck me in part because it led full circle back to an original conversation about ministry that I had with a job coach that led me to ChIME 2.5 years ago. I should note that, as many of you know, although I'm about to be ordained, this title of minister or reverend continues to be a challenge for me. And Spirit, of course, knows this. So here's the story. 2 weeks ago, I attended a funeral for a friend's father. This kind man was 93 when he died, and he'd spent his entire adult life, right up until the weeks preceding his death, as a teacher, a consultant, an author, and an historian of the Maine forest and Maine forest products industry. This resonated especially strongly with me because my father and my father's father and my great-grandfather were professionals in the Maine wood products industry. So anyway, this fellow was passionate about the Maine woods and about us sharing his knowledge of it. And at the funeral, the minister mentioned that in her most recent conversations with my friend's father, he had told her that early in his life he'd been approached about possibly going into the ministry in his faith tradition. His response was to think about it, but to decline. Instead, he felt he'd been called to be, and I quote, a minister of the forest. And indeed, that was the legacy he left, and the forests are in a better place because of his life's work. Minister of the forest. What a beautiful expression of ministry. And that, folks, was my reminder poke that ministry comes in many flavors, and it isn't necessarily churchy, but it is about service to something bigger than us. It's especially effective if it lines up with one's passion. And I would add that the message also seems to be that we all have the capacity to minister, and it's in all of us. So here's to each of us seeking and finding our calling and our ministry. And while I don't know if I have arrived yet at mine, I trust that if I keep listening, this journey will take me somewhere. Thanks to ChIME for helping me and all of us on this path. Thanks to Interfaith for embracing definitions that are wide and inclusive. And finally, thanks to Spirit for its continued presence, patience, and pokes. With gratitude.
I'd like to welcome Cat Angel.
It's been a very long journey for me. And when I was contemplating what school to go to a few years ago, I had a good friend who supported me as I came for my interview. But I still wasn't sure. And when I offered it to a congregation that I served, I had a very wise man say, go to ChIME, because they will help you figure out what you believe and not tell you what to believe. That was so true. And I'm so glad it did, because here at ChIME, I found more than a belief system. I met God. I experienced the mystery and wonder in the presence of God in so many unexpected places. In times of experiencing different traditions, in hearing and reading the words of prophets and mystics, I found myself led to overwhelming tears and new revelations. And through all this, I learned more about myself. I found that this child of God has a long way to go, and that it's less about the destination and more about the journey. And those people who I am in relationship with in that journey. I'm learning how to open myself in order to be in better relationship with others, with God, and with Spirit. In learning about faith of others and how God interacts in so many ways with each and every one, it has brought me to a closer understanding of the teachings of Christ, who I hold dear in my heart. It has led me to a greater understanding in seeking the truth, and yet able to hold whatever happens when that truth is revealed. I will forevermore be a seeker. I will be a seeker of truth, a seeker of knowledge, a seeker of the mystery, and a seeker of the holy. And may God add to this understanding. Amen.
Where are you, Helen? There you are. So I'd like to invite Helen Rousseau, our next ordinand.
Wow. There are many words that define my ChIME experience. Community, acceptance, growth, personal, spiritual, and professional. And one other word that has the deepest meaning for me, listening. At the beginning of our first year, we were asked to make a vow. This vow was to myself, and I chose to be mindful and present with all of who I am. That set the tone for the year and helped me to practice mindfulness in a deeper way, honoring all beings and myself, honoring each day, its joys and challenges. For my second year, I chose the vow to be present in the fertile void, waiting. There was a time in my life when I was in a desolate void, a deadly place for my soul, which I had to escape in order to survive and thrive. A fertile void is one that is rich in unconditional love, in divine presence, and a sense of well-being. Waiting, fully present in the fertile void, I listen to my own inner voice, inner wisdom, which connects me to the divine mystery, and the answers always come. They always come when I am present, and I wait, and I listen.
A very special part of our service includes some musical interludes, and the ordinands made some requests as to the kind of music or sounds they'd like to hear. And so our first offering is from Lisa Blake, who will be serenading us with the Tibetan singing bowls. Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. I now welcome Callie Crowley.
Hi, everyone. The glorious magnitude, the glorious, humbling magnitude of my entire life stands before you, here, now, on the head of a pin, teetering on the edge of the great abyss. Teetering on the edge of the great mystery. Join me now on a great spiritual adventure. Let's go off the shore and let the water carry you. Let's go off the shore, flow into the mystery. Let's go and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, flow into mystery. You have all you need. Your heart will be your compass. Let go and breathe and know that you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, flow into mystery, flow into the mystery, flow into the mystery.
Fred Jordan, it's all yours.
Good afternoon. Wasn't that beautiful? Like Kat said to you, my journey to this sacrament today has been a very, very long journey. I think my first call was to be veterinarian. I had a crow named Jasper who had a broken wing. I had a neurotic raccoon from North Carolina that got left at a Maine summer camp and had to be adopted. One of my favorites was Petunia, a little skunk whose mother got hit in the road. And then I had a black Cocker Spaniel that was very, very fuzzy and furry. One day, Ponty, the Cocker Spaniel, and I were down in the woods, and coming back from the woods, she got caught under a barbed wire fence. And I couldn't get her out. And all the way home to my father, I could hear that dog just shrieking and suffering, and it was just miserable. Dad came and with a pair of scissors fixed it in about 30 seconds, and the dog was fine. But that suffering made an incredible impression upon my soul, and veterinarian, as a call, went out the window. So next I tried medicine. And thinking, well, you know, people probably don't do things like that. I can probably deal with that. I started out with a little family practice, and that was kind of fun, but there was a lot of suffering there, too. And I thought, well, I wonder what makes all this suffering. I've got to figure this out. So I became a pathologist. And where the suffering is over, most of the time, except for the family, there's just a lot of things to learn. And then I slipped over into forensic pathology, which I've done for the last 30 years or so. And oh boy, did I find out what suffering was in dealing with families who had had terrible acute losses. I also happened to be the chief medical examiner for the state of Oklahoma when the Murrah building blew up, thanks to some homegrown terrorists. That really, really taught me about suffering. And even though I set up a Sunday service with a Baptist minister, remember this was Oklahoma, with a Baptist minister, with a wonderful, wonderful rabbi, and with a shorts-wearing, t-shirt-wearing Catholic priest from the University of Oklahoma. We had services every Sunday, but there was something terribly missing. I just couldn't figure out what was missing. And then one day, after coming back to Maine, I was attending church in West Paris, and I had the good fortune to run across the Reverend Sarah Shepley, stage left. And I was terribly impressed, and I discovered ChIME. And I thought, well, they won't take an old coot like me, but I think I'll try it anyway. So I applied and was accepted, and it was the wisest decision of my life. In addition to all the things that we learned, I continued to learn about suffering. I continued to try to understand suffering. I continued to try to deal with my anger towards suffering and my inability to do anything about it. And then in ChIME, I learned that the chaplain walks alongside those that are suffering in honor, in love, in respect, in dedication. And it's not about fixing, it's about keeping company on the journey. Most of my experience has been with hospice, home hospice, hospital chaplaincy, which is where I will hopefully spend the rest of my days. And virtually at some point in all this suffering, the patients become to be Christ-like. Absolutely Christ-like, almost uniformly in their dignity, in their beauty, and in their concern for others around them as well as for themselves. After 75 years, I finally got here, and ChIME taught me to recognize and become who I am. That's a long time to figure that out. Let go of what no longer serves me. Become real, and to act as a conduit for the Divine Spirit. That Divine Spirit for the patient working through the chaplain, and the Divine Spirit working through the patient to strengthen and guide the chaplain. Thank you, ChIME faculty. Sarah. Thank you, classmates, especially. Thank you, those of you who have preceded us today in ChIME and are always present and always available to us. My deepest gratitude. Thank you, parents. Thank you, friends. Thank you, supporters. And thank you, those whom we are honored to serve now and in the future. Thank you all, and God bless you. Amen.
Thank you, Fred. It's beautifully put. It's my honor to welcome Leslie Hyde.
Wow, there are a lot of you here. Welcome. When I arrived at ChIME 2 years ago, I was confident that I knew most of the answers, and ChIME would serve as a place to refine and hone them. But as I opened myself up to this experience and the layers started to peel back, I realized that I just didn't have the answers at all. And I began to accept that having the answers wasn't really as important as I thought. I started to feel that the questions held more value than the answers. Questions are good. They lead to self-discovery, curiosity, engagement. They deposit me at the threshold of that word we keep talking about, mystery. Now I'm getting somewhere. What I have come to feel is the certainty that for me, neither the questions nor the answers hold the divine. Where I am embraced by the sacred knowing of God is in the stillness of simply listening. That listening is where peace and understanding arrive without words, and it connects me to all that is. As a chaplain, it is one of my most powerful tools and is what I want to offer the world. And I'm going to leave you with these words by one of my favorite bishops, Bishop Charleston. You are the love that some other heart seeks. You are the healing some wounded life needs. You are the hope for some broken spirit. You are peace for some frantic mind. We are each the answer to some prayer, some need, some longing. We do not have to be heroic or wise to fulfill this role. We only have to be ourselves. We only have to be faithful. Take the chance to be your calling. Share who you are and watch the light flow into the world around you.
Time for another musical interlude.
I think I was anxious to hear you, Jeffrey Logan.
Well, it's really different when you're in front as opposed to seeing you from behind. I do have a couple prepared remarks, but I wanted to describe a couple of the things I'm wearing because they have great meaning for me. This is the cross of Ecclesia Ministries, which is also known as the Common Cathedral. They are sort of the umbrella group for the homeless outreach ministries across the country. And I've had the good fortune in the last year to work with Grace Street Ministry in Portland, Maine, which does the same thing. We're a homeless outreach ministry, and I've worked with Pastor Mayor Honan and Pastor Robert Ross, and it's been a great privilege. This object has great meaning for me, and I will continue to do that after ordination. Also, this lovely shirt was brought back a year ago from India by my lovely child, Maddie. And this is the first time it's been worn in public. And I might add that because nature abhors a vacuum or God has a great sense of humor, she just graduated 3 hours ago from Phillips Exeter Academy in the top 5 of her class. Some time ago, I read a quote that said the "I have a dream" speech was powerful because it wasn't a speech. It was a sermon. And like so many in history that have preached the simple truth of equality, justice, and the brotherhood of man, that preacher was assassinated. And now we have so many people of professed faith preaching hatred and division and violence from their respective pulpits. Don't concern yourself with the planet or with the poor. Worry instead about the scourge of homosexuality or the cardinal sin of abortion. Yes, pay no attention to the teachings of your chosen prophet, but cherry-pick lines from Leviticus to justify your discomfort in a world that doesn't conform to the sepia-tinted photograph in your head. Or worse, murder and dismember people who revere the same prophet that you do, but believe that his lineage follows a different path. And I challenge all of us here today to reclaim the pulpit. Not the pulpit of the cathedral, not the pulpit of the denominational sanctuary, not the rock and roll pulpit of the evangelicals or the genocidal pulpit of ISIS, but the pulpit of the streets, the pulpit of the prisons, the pulpit of the forgotten and discarded, the pulpit that Jesus and Buddha and Mohammed and every single last great prophet filled, including in our lifetime Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, and Gandhi. There is tremendous power in speaking from this pulpit, but it's not the power that compels others with the threat of shaming or of violence. It is a power that comes from telling people the simple truth, that the collective dream that we have is for a world in which everyone has enough, in which no child goes to bed hungry while a rich man forgets how many houses he had. A world in which doing unto others is the norm and isn't simply a tax write-off. The dream is deceptively simple, yet maddeningly difficult to achieve. And it doesn't loan itself to PowerPoint presentations. It doesn't loan itself to TED Talks. It doesn't loan itself to reality TV or the lazy engagement of well-intentioned celebrities. It comes from an understanding that at our basic, fundamental, and deepest level, we are hardwired to care for our brothers and sisters and to bring everyone, no exceptions, no litmus tests, no entrance examinations, to bring everyone back to unity, everyone back to wholeness, to bring everyone home. So stand strong in your pulpits, my friends, and preach the dream. Just preach the dream.
Thank you, Jeff. Now I welcome Carrie Plummer.
Hello, all you out there. Now the green blade riseth from the buried grain, wheat that in the dark earth many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. So here I am. Oops. So here I am. Oh, I'm glad. The divine has a great sense of humor, and that's fabulous because I'm always doing things like this. So, here I am, standing before you, being reborn into a new life. I've always known a call to service. Today, I publicly express it in a new way. My vocation is, and always has been, to priesthood. Following that yearning wouldn't have been simpler had I not always carried the views of deep ecumenicism. For me, there has never been one true and exclusive way to the divine. Always many ways pointing to the ineffable grace within us, around us, and between us, the grace encompassing and creating everything with that cosmic sense of humor. God laughs at our attempts to pigeonhole, because we're all like the 6 scholars trying to describe that elephant, then fighting about its nature. Miraculously, grace has stuck with me despite my winding road, so here I am, joyfully and solemnly entering into the sacrament of ordination. This sacrament turns the page into a new life. I'm also leaving my baptismal name behind, choosing to be ordained as Carolyn Plummer. While my cousin Kai, Carolyn Cressy Whiting, didn't understand my call to interfaith work, she was and is a strong supporter and an extraordinary role model for an unquenchable faith in tough circumstances. I especially honor her solid grounding, ineffable kindness, and her street smarts, of which I have very few. As she always said, don't worry about tomorrow, because God's already there. God, the divine, all that is, whoever we want, whatever we want to call. I commit myself to the mystery of a new and inclusive spirituality which I believe is burgeoning. It contains eternal truth, yet re-engages all those dear ones who answer none on all those attempts to define religion. I believe that what calls our spirits is going to take a form which we can all embrace. And I submit myself to that. Thank you.
And now, are you ready? Lindy, Sophia, Gifford. Okay, up there.
This is the fable of the caterpillar, and I dedicate it to all the children in this room. And if you think there aren't very many children in the room, you're wrong, because we all have a child within us. Once upon a time, there was a caterpillar. She does what caterpillars do: eating, creeping, munching, growing fat and ripe and ready, doing what needs to be done, working, marrying, having baby caterpillars. Loving as best she can. Enjoying being a caterpillar and forgetting to enjoy being a caterpillar. She is sometimes confused, often searching, wishing she could fly. Then an undeniable urge comes over her. She builds a hard shell around herself. It's very dark inside, and she's afraid. She feels as if she's coming apart, as if the very cells of her body are being rearranged. Through the dark and confusion, she hears a voice. You are not alone. Others have made this journey before. Others journey with you now. Slowly, she learns to trust the unfolding, for it is written in her DNA. It is undeniable. When she finally wakes, as from a long, dark dream, she feels different. All around her, she sees many beautiful butterflies. Only now can she know that she is one of them, and that inside every caterpillar is a butterfly. Only now can she fly. Namaste. The butterfly in me greets the butterfly in you.
Before we move into ordination, we're going to add a little interlude that's not in your program, with the help of Kathy Grigsby, who didn't know she was going to do it. And this is one that I'm figuring maybe you've been sitting long enough, you might need a little seventh inning stretch. So feel free to stand up and join in this. You know what I'm talking about? Wait, we have to get you on record.
This is a little Sufi exercise called Ya Fatah, and it's designed to open your heart. Now you're going to catch on really quickly. Should we do it 3 times? We'll do this 3 times because it's so much fun. So here's how it goes, and you can just follow along because you're going to get it. It goes like this. Mushy, 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 mushy. Again. Mushy, 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 mushy. One more time. Mushy, 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 mushy. Alhamdulillah.
feel better? Yes. So as we move towards ordination, just a few words about ordination from our school's perspective. It is a holy sacrament. For us as well, it's a public acknowledgement of an inner commitment that was made a long time ago by each of these individuals. At the same time, it's a recognition by us as a school of their work, skills, and spiritual commitment. In the interfaith tradition, students are ordained by the school into the lineage of the interfaith tradition. It is the school that ordains and the community that calls them into service. When I attended the new seminary, the first interfaith school, the rabbi said to us, "We'll ordain you, but the community will ordain you really when they call you into service." So during the ordination, we're going to invite all the ordained clergy or spiritual leaders in their particular religious tradition or spiritual tradition to come up, and we'll be laying hands on the ordinands. But that doesn't leave the rest of you off the hook. What we're going to invite you to do is, if you feel so called, is to acknowledge that ordination. You might do it in terms of a silent prayer, might do it with a silent gesture, might be this, but that you too are blessing and honoring and ordaining at that moment. So you're laying on your hands energetically, and we invite you to do that however feels the most comfortable. So at this time, I'm going to invite the ordained clergy up and the religious leaders and their spiritual traditions up here, and then we will be ordaining the students one by one. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Nancy, with the blessings of the Divine Spirit and all creation, and as Abbess of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you an interfaith minister.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
With the blessings of divine spirit and all creation, I ordain you an interfaith minister.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Helen, with the blessings of Divine Spirit and all creation, and as abbess of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you as an interfaith minister.
Allie, are you ready?
I am ready.
No kidding. With the blessing of Divine Spirit in all creation, as Dean of Students, the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you an interfaith minister.
Are you ready?
I am indeed.
Fred, with the blessing of Divine Spirit and all creation, as abbess of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you an interfaith minister.
Leslie, are you ready? Well, with the blessings of Divine Spirit and all creation, as Dean of Students of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you an interfaith minister.
As abbess of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you an interfaith minister.
Blessings from divine spirit of all creation, Steve Chaplaincy Institute, I ordain you.
So Lindy, are you ready? With the blessings of the divine spirit and all creation, as abbess of the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine, I ordain you an interfaith minister. So this time we're going to invite all of the clergy that have not been just ordained to sit down and thank you to and just leave our ordains here for our blessing.
It's okay to breathe. Everybody breathe. All together now.
So take a look at this beautiful group of people.
Good afternoon. Thank you. In the Jewish tradition, there's the wearing of a talit, sometimes called a talis. And what it simply means is a prayer shawl. And I think that in part, the wearing of the stole may derive from the prayer shawl, the talis. The talis is actually a holder for, in the four corners, these knotted fringes called tzitzits. These fringes are knotted in such a way to depict the 613 mitzvahs or blessings or commandments that we're to do each day. There's some shortcuts, there's things you can do that knock off 100 or 200, so it's not as daunting as it sounds. Now, when a young woman turns the age of 12 and a young man turns the age of 13, a lot of people don't notice, they automatically become a bar or bat mitzvah. The ceremony is just that. It's a way to acknowledge that what is happening is that young man or young woman are becoming an adult spiritually, taking on the responsibilities of fulfilling these 613 commandments and taking personal responsibility for their spiritual journey. At a bar bat mitzvah, often you'll hear the rabbi say, the parents are now relieved of that responsibility. In this same way, these ordinances have arrived at the time when they are ready and well prepared to take on the responsibility of being spiritual leaders. And the faculty can rest now. There is a prayer that goes along with putting on the talit. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's a tradition at ChIME at this point in the service for this prayer to be sung most often by Reverend Anna Smolowitz, who is a professional actress, singer, theater director, and in that stead, she wasn't going to just simply say the prayer. She was going to make it dramatic and entertaining by singing it very beautifully and cantorally. I have the task of filling in for Anna today. I'm not a professional singer, actor, director, so let's see how it goes. So our four volunteers. That's all very much a part of the Jewish tradition. It's complicated. So the prayer I'm about to sing is Creator of the universe, who has guided us in the tradition, the custom of wearing the tzitzits, those fringes. When I put it on over my head, and some people have this tradition of saying some things to myself, and what I say is I'm under God's protection, compassion, guidance, and love. And in this case, I'm asking that for the ordinance, but also for all who they serve. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu, 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 Lehitzatev, 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 Atzit. Amen.
We'll do another traditional Jewish blessing. This is the Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing, which you may know in another form. And I'm going to invite you to say after, when I do the Hebrew, to say something, Ken Yehi Ratzon, which means may it be your will or may it be so. So I'll ask you to repeat after me. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon. So I'm going to translate this prayer the way I thought of it this morning. May you know the shining presence of the Holy One of blessing in your very being. In that presence, may you know yourself to be protected, beloved, and at peace. Yeah, sorry, Joel will prompt you. Can you hear Ratzon? Okay, so then I have two more verses, and then you can say Can you hear Ratzon. Let
This is a time of a giving of gifts to the ordinands to take with them, to take part of the school and what they've learned with them. I will be handing them a cloth, and the reason that we give them a cloth is because each student's unique and brings a creative expression, and the cloth represents the many ways that their service may manifest. It can be used as an altar cloth. It can be used as a cloth for dancing. It can be used as ornamental wear, as a prayer shawl. It might be used to lend another a cloak or to wipe someone's brow. So the use of the cloth is endless, and the message is, be yourself and serve with your own creation.
I have the honor of presenting them with the ChIME traditional empty begging bowl, which in the Buddhist tradition, the monks go out and collect whatever they can to sustain them in an empty bowl. And the reason we give it is to remind our students of the most powerful message they may have received at ChIME, to remain always naked and empty.
As president of the Board of Trustees who are with us here today, thank you all. You know that this journey to the Are You Ready is a lifelong journey, isn't it? It's a big question, are you ready? I think we're filled with, through that lifetime, with ups and downs and all arounds, and there's sometimes that we might find ourselves feeling in a place of spiritual emergency. But I'd like to invite us to think of that as a moment of spiritual emergence, a new blessing. So I also have a gift, which is your diploma, to prove you did this work. But I have the gift of 2 poems I'd like to share with you. And the first is from Kabir. It's kind of humorous. The words guru, swami, super swami, master, teacher, murshid, yoga, priest, and I might add chaplain, most of those who are sporting such a title are just peacocks. The litmus test is, hold them upside down over a cliff for a few hours. If they don't wet their pants, you may have found a real one. And my friends, from the stories that we heard today, we did find some real ones. So thank you. And finally, as you find yourselves in a place of wondering, what the heck did I just do and what am I supposed to do? This poem from St. Francis. God came to my house and asked for charity. And I fell on my knees and cried, Beloved, what may I give? Just love, he said. Just love. So, Reverend Nancy Stoll White. Reverend Catherine C. Angela. Reverend Helen G. Rosno. Reverend Collie Crowley. Reverend Fred B. Jordan. Reverend Leslie Condick Hyde. Reverend Jeffrey Logan. Reverend Carolyn Plummer. Reverend Linda S. Gifford.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2015. And now I would like to invite our 2014 Planetary Chaplain Award winner, Pius Ali, to offer the benediction.
Namaste, Shalom, peace, Salam. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of your special day. I'm honored. Our world is in need of peace, love, respect, and peaceful coexistence. Society is in need of spiritual guidance. Now more than ever, our leaders need to be shepherded towards compassion. And you have accepted the call to be the bearers of that work. Collectively, you have served in many capacities. Your journey is like that of the multi-skilled, compassionate traveler who visited many communities and towns to serve. In each of the places the traveler stops, the task and challenge is different. At some, the traveler helped a widow rebuild the fence of her yard. At another, the traveler served as a judge and mediated a conflict between two rival families. This traveler served in many capacities until one day. The traveler was resting at an inn that was located between two communities. And the owner of the inn organized a dinner for all the travelers who were staying there that night. It was the tradition of the inn owner to ask travelers to share the most inspiring and amazing story or experience they have ever had. Each of them that night told a story. One by one, they shared the story of a compassionate doctor, a mason, a teacher, and a builder who have visited their towns and communities, and what a difference this traveler had made in their lives and the lives of people in their communities. The owner of the inn then asked each of them to name and describe the compassionate traveler. When they did, they realized they were all talking about the same traveler. Each and every one of you graduating today has been that traveler in the past. Now that you are entering into a new phase in your lives, to serve and guide, may your compassion be increased tenfold, and may the Lord God guide you in your new roles. Amen. Thank you.
Bountiful, I am beautiful, I am an instrument of love, love, love. Yes, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I Yes, I am magical, I am mystical, I am an instrument of love, love, love. Love, 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 love. I am love, 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 Now we are bountiful, we are beautiful, we are all instruments of love, love, love. Yes, we are bountiful, we are beautiful, we are all instruments, love, love. And we are magical, we are mystical, we are all instruments of love, love, love. Yes, we are magical, we are mystical, we are all instruments of love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. We are love. Love, 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 love. Yes, we are.